Hey class, this is Miss Jara Zayman Salai from ICT Department, your teacher for Animation 2 Basic Adobe Flash. Our topic for today is all about understanding animation. When we say understanding animation, Flash creates animation involves on creating and adjusting frames and that artwork that appears in them, determining the length of animation and setting a frame rate to control the animation speed. You can animate many attributes or aspects of an object, such as its shapes, size, colors, and position. When you're working with frames, it is useful to refer to a group of frames as a frame span. Before animating objects, in the Greenwind's Eco Cruise project, you review the different types of animation. Review the different types of animation. First, to create an animation, you do the following. First, specify the frames. When you open the new document, the timeline contains a single frame, known as a blank keyframes, indicating that there is currently no artwork on the stage in that frame. So let's see. So as you can see, on our timeline, you see these frames, it's called blank keyframes, indicating that there is currently no artwork on the stage in that frame. When you add content on the blank keyframes, it becomes keyframes. So let's try to add artwork. For example, so as you can see, our keyframes, our blank keyframes, it turned to keyframes. A keyframe is a special frame that signal a change in a movie, such as adding or creating artwork on the stage, or in the animation, such as changing in object appearance, location, and behavior. Now let's proceed to number 2, selecting or select animation methods. In Flash, you create animation literally frame by frame, or have a Flash do some or all of the works or the work for you. It's up to you to decide how much specific control you need to create to the final result. Regardless on how you create the animation, you can always edit it. So next is in frame by frame animation. Flash animates an object gradually over several consecutive frames. You can control an action in every frame, which may be necessary in a complex animation. Be aware, however, that more keyframes a movie contains, the larger the file size and longer it will take the users to view it on the web page. So let's try. When we say frame by frame, you do frame by frame artwork. For example, on the first frame, I need to put some artwork on my stage. And next, insert keyframes. I need to put some another frames. So, blank keyframe, insert blank keyframe. So I need to put some small keyframes. On the third keyframe, I need to insert blank keyframe, another keyframe. So if you try to test this movie by pressing Control Enter, so they have an action or movement. So next, with tween animation. Flash automatically creates animation between two keyframes. The two keyframes. This one is the two keyframes from one keyframe to another keyframe. For example, from 3 frames go to 4 frames. It will become as one. You call it as tween animation. You define starting and ending keyframes. From frame number 3 is the starting and the last is, the ending is keyframe number 4. And then modify the object or symbols. Its names comes from the phrase in between because Flash creates the animation between the two keyframes. The most common types of tweens in Flash are motion tween and shape motion. So now let's identify what are the two motion tween or the two twinned animation, which is the motion tween and shape tween. And now, what is motion tween, class? Motion tween show the movements on the stage as an instance moves from one position to another or change properties such as color, size, or rotation. Because a motion tween uses a symbols. It is an efficient way to animate object. So let's try. Let's try to put some object on my stage, and from frame number 3 go to frame number 10. It's up to you kung hanggang saan mo siya lalagyan ng frames, and then right click, insert frame on the center or in the in between frames, right click, create or click motion tween. So from first frame, my object is in this place. On the last or ending frames on the frame number 5, I will select this one and adjust on the place do you want. So let's try to test this movie by pressing Ctrl and Enter. So as you can see, on my first 3 frames, my object is in this place by using frame by frame on tween motion, using the tween motion from this action or movement. My object are slowly moved to this place. Number 2, shape twins. When we say shape twin, class, changes one to another in a process is known as morphing. When we say morphing, you can control how the shape change by adding and positioning small lettered circle around the area of the shape that you want to preserve. So let's try. So first, I need to delete these frames by using remove frames. So as you can see, don't have any frames, so I need to insert blank keyframes, and then put some shape or object on the stage using selection tool to adjust. So I need to highlight this to get all the stroke and fill color by using snap to object. Again, select and adjust. So as you can see, I get the object as a whole by using snap to object. And then put, drag my cursor to frame number 10, right click and insert frame, and then on the last frame, on frame number 11, insert keyframe. So I need to delete this to another shape I want or you want. For example, I change this to circle. So on the in-between frames, put some or click create shape. So as you can see, I have a create shape from polystar turned to circle. The process is called as shape tween. Now, let's go to, or let's further understand what is tween in the timeline. When you create tween animated, Flash create a frame span, which is this one. This is the frame span, called a tween span. On its timeline, layers in between the two keyframes, which is these two keyframes from this frame and then the last keyframe, the starting frame and the ending frame. When you use tween, you have only two keyframes. Two keyframes. Keyframes is the starting and the ending frames. Motion tween spans are blue. So let's try to put insert keyframe, insert frame, on the last keyframe, insert keyframe, in between, create motion tween. Okay, let's identify or let's differentiate between the two tweens, which is the motion tween is blue and then the shape tween are green. Again, the motion tween is blue while shape tween are green. In motion tween animation, Flash create property motion tween. Let's go to motion tween. So we have the properties below, which contains the specific property value that change in the frames. Position, scale, and rotation, and many more. So now let's go to another topic, which is the using frame. Using frame, you can insert keyframes in documents or depending on the action. Flash will create keyframes for you, can adjust the length of the frame span movie or selected frames in the timeline. Describe the different frame types. So let's identify the different types of different types of frames. This one is the icon. When we say blank keyframes, the icon, it becomes circle, an empty circle. Determined by users to not contain artwork on the stage. Next, keyframes. When you see keyframes, the dot circle has turned into dark circle, which means determined by the users contains artwork signifies changes. It means From blank keyframes, turn to keyframes. So the circle that becomes on the dark spot. So next, when we say frames, an empty frames or does not circle inside the square. Determined by the last keyframes or by flash creating frames contains artwork that doesn't change. Next, last blank frame before keyframes. Last blank frame before keyframes. Let's try. When I put keyframes and put some frames on the frame number 30, so the last keyframes, the frames before the last keyframes, it called last blank frame before the frame, which means determined by the last keyframe. So this one is the last before the last blank keyframes before the frames. So this one. So next is last frame before keyframe. Last frame before keyframe. Determined by the last keyframe or flash creating frames contain artwork that doesn't change. This one is the last frame before keyframes. Determined by the last keyframes or flash creating frames contains artwork that doesn't change. From this frame and then to the last frames, the artwork are not change at all. So next is the blank frame. Blank frame. So this one is the blank frame. Sorry, from frame number 31, 32 is the blank frame. So no frame, no artwork, no object on the stage. It blank only. Next is the property keyframe. The property keyframes determined by the change to an object property in motion tween. So now creating a motion tween. Let's further understand the first tween animation, which is the motion tween. You apply a motion tween to a symbols by placing an instance in starting keyframes and then modify the position or transformation property of the instance in the last keyframes of the animation. So here is the steps on how to create the motion or use the process of motion tween by using Flash. So let's go to our Flash. First thing to do is, open the file FD if you have the file already existed. So open your recent app from the locations where you store your date, files, and save it. So process number 2. So first, I need to delete these frames. Okay. On my library panel, I need to insert my wave. So where is my wave? Wave. So as you can see, I don't have a frame, so I need to put frame or insert frame, and then drag my wave on the library. Selection tool to adjust. Pre-transformation tool to layer number 2. Shift. Pre-transformation to adjust, to resize. Layer 2, my shape, I need to drag it down. Control, Shift, and then resize to resize the balance. Selection tool to adjust. Pre-transformation tool to resize. Hold Shift to balance the size. Okay, so next is the wave shape object are animated with the motion tween. So I need to put motion tween on the wave and shape. From frame number 1 to frame number 80, keyframes. From first layer, selection tool to adjust your shape from starting point on the ending point. So in between keyframe, use motion tween, and then the wave also. Insert keyframe from first frame to ending frame. Pre-transformation to adjust the size. If you want to cut the waves, insert keyframe. Shape tween, a motion tween, sorry, and then motion tween. So let's try. Control. Okay. Indicate by the light blue tween span but you want to delay the logo appears in a few seconds. You do by creating a new layers and then inserting a keyframes later from frame of the movie. So I need to put the logo. Number 2, drag the instance of the green wins logo symbols from the library panel to the stage with an X value of 9 and value of 50, selecting the width value of and selecting the height value of 10.0. It's up to you whether the height and the width of the text do you want. So number 3, let's try to put some logo. I need to insert a new keyframe. Insert keyframe. Insert keyframe. Number 4, click insert on the menu bar, then click motion tween. Let's go to flash. Number 4, the frame span to the right frame turns from 80 turns to blue, which means it means motion tween span. Next, you adjust the alpha setting for the logo and the beginning and the ending of the tween to achieve the fade on effect. Next, number 5, click the selection tool on the tool panel if necessary. Click the logo instance on the stage, which is selection tool. Click the logo instance on the stage and select it. Show that the property panel below, click the color style. This arrow color effect session, click alpha, then drag to alpha slide. Next, color, alpha, color, alpha into 42. So next, the last one is color, alpha, and to 100. So let's try. The logo is still selected but no longer visible on the stage because you've set the alpha transparency to 0 as shown in the figure 5, or the demonstration I showed to you to complete the motion tween. You add property keyframes in the frame where you want the logo to be fully visible and adjust the alpha back to 100. On the last or the ending frame, I changed it to 100%. So you can see the full color of the logo. So next, number 6. Number 6. Click frame 100 in the logo layer. Click insert the menu bar point to timeline. Click keyframes. Click logo instance on the stage to select it if necessary. Then drag the alpha slider 100 on the property panel. So next is number 7. Drag the playhead frame from frame 87. Compare your screen to figure screen. Scrub the playhead from frame 80 to 100 to view the animation. Then lock the logo layer. And then the test movie close, flash, then save the document. So let's try. So yan, this is the final look of our activity for creating the motion tween or further understanding how the motion tween process or how the motion tween works. Thank you for listening, class. So this is the end of our topic for today. See you on the next video lesson. I hope you have a lot of learning today, and don't forget to answer the DLP below on your written activity. And goodbye, class. See you on the next lesson. Bye. Forget I'm your teacher, Miss Jaira Zuniga Mansalay, your teacher for Animation 2 Basic Adobe Flash. Bye.